All right, so in this video, 10 foods you should avoid. Now, I don't believe in demonizing any type of food, um, but there are foods, if you have a fitness goal and you want to be healthy, there are foods that's going to make that hard to do or impossible. So these right here are the top 10. There are more, but these are the top 10 foods that you should avoid if you're trying to be, really healthy and you're trying to lose weight and feel good. So, number 10, I'm gonna start from the least to probably the worst, in my opinion. So, number 10 would be non fat or low fat foods like low fat milk or low fat mayo. Anything that says low fat. The reason why is because when something naturally comes with fat in it, like milk, when they take the fat out, they have to replace it with something because it loses texture and it loses consistency and loses flavor. So what they have to do, they take the fat out, but replace it with some type of sugar or chemicals. Well, sugar and chemicals in place of the fat to make it, non-fat healthy. So you want to avoid anything that says non-fat. So that's number 10. Number 9, deli meat or lunch meat, hot dogs. Now, I'm not demonizing all lunch meat, deli meats, or hot dogs, but most of them with the nitrates or the chemicals in them, they're not really very good, especially if you're a diabetic. You want to stay with good kosher hot dog. Like for me, not to put a plug in, but I like Nathan's or Hebrew Nationals if I was to eat any. Number 8 is GMO or GMOs, like especially like corn or soy. Now, pretty much all soy nowadays and corn are GMOs. Wheat is GMO, and I'll get to wheat in a minute. The reason why you'll hear a lot of people say that there's no scientific evidence that GMO, genetically modified organism, causes problems. Well, not yet. We haven't had any problems yet, really, with GMOs or genetically modified organisms at this time. But I just avoid them anyway, just because it's fairly new, and who knows what's going to come out about them, years from now. So vegetable oil, corn oil, anything deep fried. So I got vegetables, but not vegetables, vegetable oil and corn oils because it's pretty much rancid. It's been heated to, when it's heated like that and they extract all the oils, they just totally destroy it, and it's very toxic to the body at that point. And when you go out to restaurants and you eat something deep fried, that is the worst because pretty much they probably been using that oil all day. Who knows how long they've been using it, and it's kind of been reused multiple times, which even worse or 10 times worse than what it is in its original form. So you always want to avoid vegetable oils, corn oils. And number 6 is white flour. So white flour modern wheat and cereals. Now white flour is pretty much wheat with all the nutrients extracted, and the reason why is because it has a longer shelf life. That's why they originally come up with that. So it's just pure calories or pure energy with very little nutrients. So you're just eating just pure energy. Has no benefit whatsoever. Modern wheat. Modern wheat is pretty much genetically modified, or the wheat nowadays are not the same wheat that our ancestors ate thousands of years ago. This is totally different. It affects the gut totally different, and so that's why you have a lot of people with leaky gut syndrome, and all types of issues, IBS, all types of issues. Now cereals, because cereals are made from wheat and white flour, pretty much all the cereal aisles, avoid them. don't eat any sugars, margarine wheat, and then full of sugar, full of food coloring, which is chemicals. So you want to avoid that as well. MSG, you want to avoid MSG. I don't know if you heard of, the Chinese restaurant syndrome. But what MSG is, it's not a food. Um, it's a flavor enhancer. So what it is, it affects the same part of your brain as like cocaine does or whatever. So it makes the food taste better than what it really is. And for example, like tomatoes naturally have MSG in it, but that's natural. So what they do, they extract all the MSG, and then concentrate it and then put it in food. So it sends this overwhelming signal to the brain that the food is much better, or tastes much better than what it really is. So that's why when you go eat at certain restaurants, a lot of times it's kind of hard to reproduce that at home. So it sends a false signal to the brain. The food is really not that good. It's just MSG. Sugars. You want to avoid sugar. Now, sugar is natural, but it's highly concentrated in sodas, sweet tea, especially if you're in the South. We love sweet tea on a hot day, and coffee drinks, like Starbucks, things like that. Now, if you're going to go there and you're going to have like a regular coffee, a black coffee, that's different. But if you're going to have these lattes and things like that, this is pure sugar, highly concentrated sugar. Now, when you highly concentrated sugar like that, now sugar becomes a poison. It's highly concentrated that makes it become unhealthy. Now, trans fat is just pure poison to start with. And trans fat is in margarine, and partially hydrated oils are trans fats. Now, because the government put a warning out finally against trans fat, now it's labeled as partially hydrated oil, but this is one and the same, trans fat. So you want to avoid margarine, eat butter in its natural form, grass-fed butter, it's the best way to go, but you definitely want to avoid trans fat. Now, number 2 is cake, donuts, pies, whatever. The reason why is because pretty much that's going to have the high sugar, that's going to have the trans fats in it, and it's going to have the worst of the worst, the margarine wheat in it. So now you got this cocktail of this is just horrible. So donuts, cakes. Now cake, yeah, it's not deep fried like donut is, but it does have the margarine wheat, which is bad. And last but not least, artificial sweeteners are horrible. Not what certain ones. So aspartame is horrible. Sucralose is horrible, and saccharin is horrible. From what I understand, it also destroys your gut health, or your microorganisms in your gut. Pretty much, your gut is your first brain, guys. So it's said, and your brain is your second brain. Your head is your second brain. Gut is your first brain. So you have good bacteria and bad bacteria, and this, what I understand, destroys the good bacteria. And not only that, the sucralose is a derivative of embalming fluid. So all this stuff right here is just chemicals, and aspartame is pretty much in most sodas. Even chewing gum nowadays has a lot of this stuff in it. So you want to be careful of this as well. Stevia is good. Monk fruit is really good. And you want to stay away from all these top 10 if you want to be healthy, lose weight, get everything in balance, get your body into a homeostasis where weight loss is easy, natural, and you're not really banging your head against the wall wondering what's going wrong. Keep that on your list. All right, guys. Catch you in the next video.